it is about to go down, that we can see that the tension is high, the adrenalines are rushing. And in the last 24 hours, there has been so many political scenes, so many political thunder striking events going on, that we had to see that Ebola Ahmed Tinubu needed to send the boys of the Minister of Defense to go into that coalition with Peter Obi, where we saw Atiku standing up, shaking and Obi that you are the anointed golden boy that with Unsit Tinubu come 2027. When Tinubu saw this, he got scared and he immediately activated the boys. You would see that when that meeting was going on, Anobi had a very intriguing speech, a very heart-warming, and of course, a fiery speech that give me just one deputy as a northerner, be it Erufai, be it the Bala Mohammed, anybody. I just need someone from the corner to be my support. And Atiku, I want you to respect the fact that now is the turn of the South and watch me unseat Tinubu. And I agree with you. I will be, because looking at the indices, the performance metric of Tinubu since 2023 to date, nothing but terrible performances. This is what a Tinubu has showed. If this was the Tinubu of 1999 to 2007 that they showed to us, then of course it has always been the lie that it was never the one that built the Eco-Atlantic. Because at the stand today, Nigeria is what? Drowning. Nigerians can no longer afford rice. Nigerians are in a fact even poorer today. Nigerians, as you know them, are indeed very, very deep neck into poverty. And it was an interesting show because the article, I think he has come to the realization that, listen, I can no longer continue on this path of failing. I want to once again belong to the winning team. And what we saw yesterday was an interesting thing where the Northern coalition, all the Northern political oligarchs, yes, whoever they are, have all decided to connive and use the Peter Obi as the man to unseat Tinubu for their own biddings. Whatever you might think, whatever you might say that is going on there, maybe they want to use the Peter Obi, maybe they want to they want to brainwash him, whatever the case is. What we see is, if a Tinubu wants to have an headway, if a Tinubu wants to really win, he must begin to see that the North is out of the game. The only thing a Tinubu can use to win a 2027 election, as I have always said, is for him to push the sentiment of the South and the Middle Belt, which has always been to reform and to restructure this country. If that is not it, if he's not going to do that, I can guarantee you that before 2 p.m. that very day, Tinubu might have been kicked out. Because if Tinubu does anything other than that, restructuring, pushing policies that will aggressively mobilize the South and the Middle Belt, right? That will, of course, show the plurality of the South and North. If Tinubu insists not to push those narratives of transformation, of fractionalization, of regionalizing this country, I can bet you he will have no chance and the South will not support him. Because there's only one thing the South need. In fact, those who are supporting Peter Obi, there's only one thing they need. One, releasing the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Two, pushing the bill to have some form of federal government infrastructure in the Southeast. Another one is him pushing a bill for the Middle Beltans, ensuring he put their sons in critical positions, and most importantly, pushing a bill to talk about having a new constitution where each regions will have an equal say in the federal position. If Tinubu does not have the capacity, the strength, the intelligence to do this, I guarantee you the North will, of course, kick him out, because the North were the ones that put him there. Whether you like it or not, Tinubu did not become the president today because the Yorubas voted him. No. Tinubu is not the president today because the Ibibios, the Calabas, the Rivers voted him. No. Tinubu is there today because those that voted him were the Northerners. If you look at it, Tinubu got over 8 point something million. 5 million of his votes came from the North. Northwest, about 70% of that 5 million, and the remaining 30% came from the Northeast, and there's North Central. If you look at it, the whole vote that Tinubu got from the South collectively is just around 3 million. And meanwhile, if you look at the vote, and Obi got an approximately of over 4 to 5 million votes from the South. So you can see that Obi got almost times two of the votes that Tinubu got. Now, going into 2027, if an if a Tinubu thinks that, okay, fine, how can I take away the vote from Obi in the South? Well, we can see that Tinubu has been doing some political gimmicks, trying to pull so many political, heavyweights to the South, even if they are all corrupt, they are all thieves. We can see the likes of Delta, the likes of Rivers, all of them saying they want to decamp to APC. We can see, so many big states. We can see Akwa Ibom even threatening his commissioners that he would be porting to APC, that if they do not port, that he will sack them. Yeah, why is he doing this? Because first and foremost, those are the states that Obi won. However, those states are also the states that finance the biggest political opposition party, which is PDP. Now, Tinubu has successfully hijacked those states. Yet, those states do not guarantee a Tinubu a victory. What will guarantee a Tinubu a victory? Because what I'm seeing, what I'm predicting is the very moment an article releases that statement that, guys, while we can understand and comprehend his body language already that an article will not be running by 2027, because what we saw, that demonstration we saw yesterday at that meeting was a very revealing one. The last person that got into that meeting was Peter Obi. And when it got there, we need to see the ovation. The ovation was at the highest. The reception, the claps, the accolades. Everybody paid with rapt attention, listening to the every words coming out from the lips of Peter Obi. You see, when we're talking about the Nigerian politics today, the most influential person in Nigeria is Peter Obi. You cannot take away that. Why? And let me tell you, because it is rightly the time for the Igbos to be the president. If Nigeria is said to be standing on a tripod, right? The North, the Southwest, and the Southeast. Agreed. In fact, the fourth one, which is the South, they've been the president. The North have been the president over and over. The Yorubas have been the president over and over. Now, the Southeast deserve to be. They are deserving. In fact, nobody knows if the Southeast will even be the people that will take us to El Dorado. Nobody knows, but they deserve to be tried. We've tried a Tinubu, right? The man who came out and started crying, echoing, singing the chorus, Emiloko, Emiloko. What has he done to you as an ordinary Yoruba man? I mean, sometimes I read the comments of my fellow Yorubas who kind of review my analysis. I've seen how they call me all manner of names, telling me, but I just shrug it off. I don't listen to them because I know that they are just diabolically tribalist. When you are diabolically tribal and what you cannot see further than your nose, the only thing you know and breathe is bigotry. Then there's no point arguing with you because you just be a waste of time, right? I, as a Nigerian, right, as Nigeria's constitution today, must respect the rights of every region. I do. I believe the Middle Belt deserve a time. I believe the Igbos deserve a time. And I believe this country needs to be structured where everybody will have an equal chance to progress in their own pace. So we wouldn't have a situation whereby some people will be pulling you down when you are trying to move forward. I know that the Southwest should have been ahead if not for the issue of the Northern hegemonies. I know the Southeast would have been even economically free if not for the Northern oligarchs. But yeah, here we are. When even the Southeast tried to do everything to attain that political position, there are always some saboteurs. Most times in the past from the North, because we know that the North betrayed them as of 2023, but that is in the past. Now in the future, even Atiku agrees that fine, if this young man is deserving, I want to give him. I am all for it. I am all for it because I am simply a man who is progressive. And you cannot be calling yourself a progressive and you are not supporting the cause of having a fresh breath of air. I mean, we are literally getting choked. We are literally getting choked under the administration of Tinubu. So Tinubu trying to do everything to scatter this coalition, sending saboteurs from Jigawa. You all know that Jigawa state is the state of the current Minister of Defense. And you know, these are the people that have the security intel. These are the people that know where every meeting is to be held. Any form of gathering where 2 or 3 gathers, the Minister of Defense is aware. When the bandits are attacking people, they have an intel. Yes, they do. Because they have access to the satellite imagery. They have access to every voice call made in this country, every telecommunication system. They have access. So they will only pay attention to what protects their political interest. And we could see that when that coalition meeting of yesterday that was held in Abuja was about to be ended, we saw that some people from the Minister of Defense states started trying to scamper and disrupt the meeting. They did everything possible. They started going against the peaceful agreement that was being formed. We started hearing noise that no, this will not happen. We do not agree. The delegate from Bauchi, this or from Jigawa, this is not the person. This is the person. What they are simply trying to do is they are trying to plant a seed of discord in the midst of that meeting. They are doing everything to ensure that no agreement is made, so that there can be an extension, so that when there will be a receipt, they would have been able to plot, that hatchet job they want to actually conceive and execute. These people were literally shocked. Tinubu right now is about to be played in his own game of deception. Shortly, Obi said, I am not leaving Labour Party. The coalitions, which included Atiku and some people, they said they wanted to go to ADC. Before the meeting, the ADC chairman said that, these people are no longer coming. The SDP matter, there are rumors that this guy, Tinubu, has infiltrated. His hands, his tentacles are already around the necks of SDP. Then all of a sudden, people were thinking that maybe Atiku and Obi were no longer trying to come together. It was just unplanned, and everybody just saw Obi, Atiku, Amechi. These are all political heavyweights in the Nigeria context, all in one hall, filled up to the brim. Nothing less than 1,000 persons were there. The big people from the north, big people from the south. Nobody can sideline an Amechi now. Amechi self get weight, get political weight, whether you like it or not. And Amechi is also relatively acceptable in the north. Imagine an Amechi supporting an Obi. You know what? And Amechi too is also a radical person. Yes. What Obi needs is make North just there for him. When North is for him, and what's it called? They said, Obi, nobody will rig election in the north. If the north says such a word that, Oga, Atiku has given you the headway, I as El-Rufai, I as Lamido, all of them, if they tell Obi that, listen, Tinubu will not rig, because I have always said that if there will ever be an uprising that will eventually break the camel's back of this country, it will be an uprising that will start from the north, not the south. The south cannot. If the south could have, when we are having the agitation of the Biafran war within the period of 1966 to 1970, they should have been able to get the Biafra. And the reason why I keep saying this is because the northerners comprises a large population in the Nigerian army. So, and I'm going to tell you that the Fulanis are the ones in charge of the north. And when a Fulani man like Atiku, a Fulani man like so many of them in the north, when they begin to say, listen, Obi, we want you to go. We have your back. Maybe there's a condition you are not going to do more than 4 years. Possibly, maybe that will be the case. But Obi will have his name as a president. Doesn't matter. And I'm sure if Obi gets there, if he performs exceptionally well, we might begin to have a change of heart. which is highly possible. Right? Now, if they can guarantee an obedience, I swear to God, Tinubu is a gunner. Yes, Tinubu will try to maybe muzzle the vote in the south, blah blah blah. But if a Tinubu does not do the aforementioned things that I mentioned earlier, where I said if Tinubu do not do those things that I said, for him to have a situation whereby the southern people will now vehemently support him, like pushing the sentiment of the south, bringing that clear dichotomy that he has, because Tinubu must begin to now push that narrative that it is Obi that is now pushing for United Nigeria. I am no longer for a United Nigeria. It is not a secret. In fact, it is an obvious truth that the northern southerners, even to the middle belt, want to have a region of their own. If a Tinubu really want, but I know he can't, yes, because he is also benefiting, right? I know he's benefiting from the system of one Nigeria, I know. But when you start seeing charges being dropped against Imaz Nnamdi Kanu, when you start seeing conversations like middle belton people getting more appointments, when you start hearing situations like the South is getting more appointments, and maybe federal governments want to set up committee to look into the seaport establishment, then you know where Tinubu is going. And I know these are the things he want to do, because Tinubu is only politically relevant as far as Nigeria is concerned and as far as Southwest is concerned, because he is a master in what we call divide and rule. I don't call it master strategist. He is a master that only has a hold of his people through the rule of division. He has been able to divide the people, and he comes in when they are the weakest, and he takes advantage and he exploits them. And that is what he will do. Because I know by the time of 2027, the campaign will be a campaign of religiosity, of ethnicity, just as Obi has said. Obi said, we have voted for religion and ethnicity. In fact, let us listen to the words of Obi.